You know, this was a weird situation for me because this movie was a nice, cool, hour 5 minutes?
So good.
Hour 10. Hour 10.
So good.
Hour 10.
Still very short. Very
Except
short.
5 minutes of that hour 10 was literally credits that I skipped.
So concise.
Very quick. And yet, at the same time, I still fucking hated it.
Wow.
This is probably the first movie that I'm going to give a solid half a star to.
Oh, no.
Actually hated it.
I give half a stars to movies I hate as well, but I fucking loved this piece of shit.
When I read that you said you loved it, my heart broke.
It's an incompetent piece of shit, and I loved every second of it.
But it feels incompetent on purpose. It doesn't feel.
It is,
and not in a good way.
I disagree. Look, this is one of those movies that we cover every once in a while. We used to cover it a lot more, I would say, than we do now. Mm-hmm. The purposely bad B movie with shoestring budgets that only get made because of their titles. And this is one of those movies. It came out last year. It became a meme of sorts, I would say, online. I saw a lot of people talking about this movie, The Velocipastor, because with a title like that, how couldn't you talk about this movie? And it's directed by a guy named Brendan Steer, who has never made a movie before. I believe from Connecticut, though.
wow.
Yeah. And I'll just read the synopsis here. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas.
I think that's a disrespectful synopsis.
Okay.
She's a hooker doctor lawyer.
Good point.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Future hooker
And
doctor lawyer.
Future, yeah.
I think it's not cool. She's in pre-med law.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Give her some fucking credit.
Absolutely. Woman's got to eat out there.
Right.
I will say this, though. In terms of shit B movies that are supposed to be terrible, I thought this one was really clever. And I
didn't find it clever at all. That's the problem.
laughed out loud several times.
Me too.
I did not.
Me too.
And I never laugh out loud for these types of movies. Never.
Well, a lot of it was the way it chose to play with cinematic techniques, like because it's easy to just make a like cinematography or a trope with cinematography like cheap and bad, but this one said, oh, instead of just doing like a pull out of the guy screaming that his parents are dead, why don't we pan up and then the camera shakes around as if it doesn't know where to go. And shit like that.
Dude, I loved the
I laughed at one part at the beginning when the car blew up, and instead of putting up a car on fire, they put up the what do you call it? The watermark that says VFX car on fire.
It's like an insert title for like what an editor would put in later
right,
on.
Like that's where it just looks like they forgot to put the car there.
But they cut to his reaction of him just screaming no, and then they cut back to the VFX shot supposed to be here.
Right.
It's just so funny.
And it's just an empty street with nothing there.
And that made me laugh. But beyond that, it just was it felt lazy. It didn't feel clever. It felt lazy the entire way through.
There are some things that are a little lazy. I agree with you there. But
it just there's a lot of things I can forgive, but it didn't feel like there was any spirit in this movie, and it didn't feel like any effort was put into this movie. It felt like every scene was the minimal amount of effort. Like they came up with a few funny gags, but they did not carry the film all the way through. It felt lazy. And that, to me, made the experience just not worth watching.
Okay. All right.
I disagree with that.
I'm sure you do.
There are certain things that I could file a lawsuit against this movie for maybe false advertising. I mean, when you look at that when you look at that artwork, it's pretty awesome. You got that badass pastor with the whole gang there, and you got a very realistic rendering of a velociraptor on top and everything, like looking great, right?
The Velocipastor, a man of the claw.
But then I watched the movie,
Right.
and that the way they conceptualize the Velociraptor in this movie,
Well, they went with practical effects.
yes, but
So you got to give them that.
My issue is that it would have been more convincing had they picked up one of those fucking dinosaur costumes at Party City.
Yeah.
Is that what they did?
No, this thing
That's
was.
exactly what it looked like.
It's so much worse.
Do you think this was homemade, this costume?
I also don't think it's fair to say they went for practical effects. Practical effects implies effort. Okay?
I think they went practical.
No, practical effects implies effort. They went in their backyard
Yes.
and like wore fucking dollar store ninja costumes
Yes.
and used orange food coloring for blood.
They didn't try to hide it though, like whenever
Sure.
someone would get dismembered and they would hold up the head, it's very obviously a fake head.
Yeah, and
they
it's
would zoom
overly
in on-
obvious,
Yes.
meant to be funny, which I
Yes.
get. That's fair.
Yes.
I like the fact that the costume wasn't a velociraptor.
That's also true.
It was just not. Yeah,
I think it was a T-Rex.
They only picked the Velociraptor for the pun.
Of course.
But it had like no body. It's just like legs and a head and then a tail.
Yeah, I think the title is just inaccurate in general because that's not a velociraptor and that priest is not a pastor. He is a priest.
Yes.
Priests and pastors are different things. I forgive it though. Yeah, I laugh not only at the car blowing up, but also the shot of the parents in front of the car when they do like the old school 70s zoom out pan and you have the close up of the two parents waving across the street and then swoosh, here's their car as though we're supposed to care about it. You know, the way that the movie like focuses your attention on things that just don't matter, I find that hilarious. I love that sort of sight gag.
Yeah. I like that stuff too. That's my kind of sense of humor though.
Yeah.
I love the moment when they're at the Chinese or Asian, whatever the hell. I guess it's Chinese because they say it's China.
Yeah, they go to China.
They go to China in heavy quotes. But yeah, they go to the compound with all the Chinese people there and they're all dressed as ninjas and then they're devising their evil scheme and then they start laughing.
Yes.
And they laugh for a while and it's kind of awkward and then the main guy stops so that they can reset and laugh again.
Yeah.
I love these choices.